This is the sermon for October 16th, 2022. I'm going to read first from Psalm 30. This is from the Message. I give you all the credit, God. You got me out of that mess. You didn't let my foes gloat. My God, I yelled for help, and you put me together. God, you pulled me out of the grave, gave me another chance at life when I was down and out. Across a lifetime, God shows only love. The nights of crying my eyes out gave way to days of laughter. When things were going great, I crowed, I've got it made. Then, things fell apart. I called out to you, God. I laid my case before you. Can you sell me for a profit when I'm dead? Auction me off at a cemetery yard sale? So listen, God, and be kind. Help me out of this. You did it. You changed wild lament into whirling dance. You removed my black mourning band and decked me with wildflowers. In Mark 1:40 through 45. A leper came to Jesus, begging on his knees, "If you want to, you can cleanse me." Deeply moved, Jesus put out his hand, touched him, and said, "I want to. Be clean." Then and there the leprosy was gone, his skin smooth and healthy. Jesus dismissed him with strict orders. Say nothing to anyone. Take the offering for cleansing that Moses prescribed and present yourself to the priest. This will validate your healing to the people. But as soon as the man was out of earshot, he told everyone he met what had happened, spreading the news all over town. So Jesus kept to out-of-the-way places, no longer able to move freely in and out of the city. But people found him and came from all over. Well, I've been using the Message more and more as a study Bible because I'd gotten stuck in the literal translations where the language really is outdated, antiquated, formal, and more wooden. Jesus and the disciples used more usual common language, idioms, language of the day, common people language. My study has been so refreshed in studying the modern paraphrase. Well, I want to talk first about Psalm 30 because that is a description of real life from 2,500, 3,000 years ago, with all the desperation, the humor, and the joy of real life for human beings. It's an overview of a lifetime. If you wrote your story in 3 paragraphs, without all the details of what, where, and when, but if you wrote the arc of your story over your story of a lifetime, what would you write? Think about that just for a moment. The psalmist said, across a lifetime, God shows only love. That captures the ups and downs held in the perspective of covenant love and grace. Sometimes we think we have it made and we crow. I often think of Peter Pan, arr, 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 crowing like a rooster. Sometimes we have it made and we crow. Life is so good. Have you felt that at times? I hope that we all have at times. And have you also felt that life crashed and all you could do was call out, "Help, I need rescue, I'm desperate"? From what I've heard of listening with people, everyone has felt that at times. And the transition from long nights of crying my eyes out almost always gives way to days of laughter. Not always, but most of the time, we can come through the roughest patches and again laugh. It's like that saying, when I was born, I cried, and all those around me laughed with joy. When I die, I hope I have deep joy, while those around me are crying. It's a reversal. It's a reversal for those who are loved and those who delight in love. Writing those sentences that I wrote just now was like writing a hopeful obituary. I hope my life is like that. The thought gives you more clarity as you make your life choices now. That's why they say everyone should write their obituary, because it takes you off the immediate details of life and gives you the broader view. We acknowledge that sometimes we're in a mess, desperate, and somehow through surprising grace, through love, we get pulled out of the worst mess and return to joy, to being put together. And we laugh. And I love the phrase in the psalm, we're decked with wildflowers. Wildflowers are so ephemeral. They come, they bloom, they pass very quickly. For those of us who live long enough, this process happens more than once, right? I bet your life has ups, and downs in it. It happens more than once. There's a great TED Talk on life transitions. If any of you want to watch it, it's Bruce Feiler, Feiler, and it's about life quakes, when transitions happen. Through it all, love carries us, somehow, in mystery. We are surprised by the strength of love and community, however it looks. I hope you see the humor in this psalm as well. The one praying is reasoning and bargaining with God. I called out to you, God. I laid my case before you. Can you sell me for a profit when I'm dead? In other words, still let me die, God. You can't sell me for a profit. Will you auction me off at a cemetery yard sale? So listen, God, and be kind. The idea of a cemetery yard sale is hilarious if you let yourself think about it. So listen, God, and be kind. Help me out of this. One of the most important prayers in life is help. How often have we prayed in a way that seemed to be bargaining or reasoning with God? Almost everyone I know has bargained or reasoned with God. What good will it do you, God, when I'm dead? Save me, and I'm sure to return something to you. I'll give you something. I'll promise. I'll change my life. We all pray that prayer when we're desperate. As if we could give anything to God, who is pure love and wholeness and spirit, and doesn't need anything that we could give. Could you put a price on love? Can you buy it? No. The psalm is prayer in a nutshell. We crow when life is good, when we're on top of the world. We're devastated and we cry out for help. We bargain with God. And as the transition finishes, somehow we return to joy. Through it all, love is present and carries us. When we look back, that's what we see. We see the love that carried us through the worst of times. Over a lifetime, prayer is not about asking for a specific thing. We'll never get all we want, and if we did, we'd be monsters. Through it all, though, somehow love is evident, sometimes hidden, sometimes plain. I want to return to the idea that any one person in any one situation with any particular prayer request, that isn't the point. And so, talking about prayer as if it's about a specific thing, except the call of desperation or the celebration of joy, those are specific, but they're not about a parking place or about a house or about praying for something that you get. That's not the point. If we pray for healing or escape, we may not get it. If we pray for it for our loved ones, we may not get it. If we're healed, like the leper in this case, we will still die over a lifetime. If we were to get physical sight restored, we might still be blind to the most essential truth of love. So you can pray for sight, but you still might be blind. That's the point of prayer. It's living into God and living into spirit and living into community. Living in love. That's the point of prayer. That's what prayer is. How many of us in the U.S. are blind to the need of the healing of the earth? I just saw that 70% of species or wildlife, I'm not sure what that is, but 70% has died in the last 50 years. Might be species. We're blind to the pollution of the waters. We're blind to the disappearing of the fruitful aspect of our earth. And we blithely go about doing what we want to do, hoping that our kids will work it out. They'll figure it out. You know, we're going to do what we want to do. That's a blindness. That's an essential blindness. Even our economy is a bubble. There's no foundation for the relative prosperity that the U.S. enjoys. Now, not everybody, but it's a bubble. We just hope that the bubble won't burst in our lifetimes. Well, that's all a depressing thought. But back to the scriptures. Let's look at the man with leprosy, a dreaded skin disease that cut him off from family and community. It made him unclean, untouchable, and yet Jesus touches him. There are 3 stories in this Mark passage. The first, the man begs on his knees for cleansing from this flesh disease. He asks Jesus, if you want, you can make me clean. Hear the desperation. If you want, you can make me clean. Jesus wants it, touches him, and makes his skin clean. That's part 1. Part 2 is Jesus' instructions to be restored to the community. Equally as crucial, perhaps more so, than the cleansing of the disease or the skin. Go show yourself to the priest who can certify your cleansing, because then you will be restored to the community. And the third part is Jesus telling him, don't tell anyone. Keep it under your hat. Only tell the priests. Well, who could do that? Honestly, who could do that? And so he doesn't do it. Yeah, I'm encouraging all of us to look not just at specific earthly healing or a specific answer to prayer as the miracle. The cleansed skin is the easy answer of the miracle. If you look to the larger context, there's the miracle. And what do you see? That is a crucial question that we need to ask as individuals and as a community. Where is the miracle? It's not in the specific answer to prayer, because that's passing like a wildflower. There's no wrong answer to where is the miracle. We could all have different right answers, but I see one answer. In the love expressed by Jesus, there is great tenderness and touching the untouchable. I want you. Yes, I want you to be cleansed. I want to touch the untouchable, restoring that person to community. That is the miracle. We need community even more than we need any specific cure or any specific healing. Some things cannot be changed or healed, and then we need the power of community even more. This is real life. This is real life. And you know, the miracle, the healing of community and the power of love and spirit never happens in a flash. That's not real life. It happens over a lifetime. It happens over months or years. It's not a flash. May God bless us.